Welcome back to Single Tree Nation, guys. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, and as always, we have our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells.
What is up, everybody?
What is going on?
It's a good day.
We have a pretty epic show. I have been trying to nail down this show for almost a year now.
It's been a while. I knew that.
It's been a while. Somebody that I've been following for, at least 5 or 6 years now. Probably right at 5 years. I've been following this gentleman's progression of what they call, some people call overnight success, which we'll get into in a little while. But I don't even know what the best way to introduce this gentleman is. The legend,
It's just thrown to the wolves.
pitmaster.
Yeah, that's it.
The TV star, the author,
Restaurateur.
the man, the myth, the legend.
Yep.
Mr. Rodney Scott himself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Man. I'm just a dude.
Look, I say the same thing sometimes, and I absolutely love that you answered that way, because I feel like most people that are the barbecue enthusiasts that have done what you've done are very similar, and we just like making amazing food and building people and communities and bringing them together and having a good time over a great meal.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing better, man. You know, you learn a lot of stories, a lot of truth, a lot of lies when you're sitting by the fire, you know. Can't beat
Tall
it.
tales.
It's like fishing. You know, you get by that fire and everything gets bigger.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Now, you have been in and around barbecue for most of your life, right?
Yes. You can pretty much say my entire life. I was born in 1971. Family started a business in 1972 for those of you out there. That is a century. And I grew up in the business, from, walking around it to helping out to actually taking over.
Now, if my memory serves me correctly, your first time ever cooking a hog, you weren't even a teenager yet.
Wasn't a teenager yet. I was 11 years old. It was a chilly day in December. School was out, and there was a basketball game down the street that I was dying to go to. And the challenge that day was, you're going to cook the hog if you want to go to the game. And I was like, oh, yeah, really? I got this. And it was a rivalry game, and I wanted to go really bad. So my dad we got it loaded, and he left. And he was like, you can watch the hog until I get back. This man seemed like he wasn't ever coming back. So I knew what I was supposed to do, and I knew what to look for. So it was one knee flashlight all day, wood in the barrel coals all day, not understanding that the dude that was hanging out was actually supervising me secretly to make sure I didn't lose track or burned it up. And, man, when it was time to flip it over and it flipped over, I said, yeah, I win. And he said I could go to the game. I didn't give a rip, man. I didn't stick around and see the finish. I changed clothes and went to that basketball game.
Oh, no, you missed your own product.
I mean, I'm 11.
Hey,
right. Now, priorities.
Yeah.
You did it. So
there's a basketball bouncing.
that's right.
I love it.
Hey,
at 11, basketball is way more important than that hog.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Most thing. Yeah.
Now, you go back that far, man, like looking back when you were in grade school and middle school and high school, like when did food and cooking hogs and when did all of that start clicking for you?
You know what? Funny thing, it started clicking the summer before my senior year, when we had economics and government, and it was a tough class for a lot of us at the school. And my math teacher held me back on purpose. She said, you passed, but you could have done better. So I only needed English, math, and economics and government to pass, right?
Right.
So I persuaded my folks to let me get to summer school and get that economics and government out of the way. And the only thing that I can really tell you about economics and government from memory is supply and demand. That's when I figured out food is definitely a demand. We can supply it. Let's make this delicious. I understand this. Let's sell this. So by my senior year, I started to realize that food was very necessary. We make it. Let's make it delicious. This is a gift, I think, because again, by this time I'm about 16. I said, this is a gift. I really need to make this work. I can make this work. And that's when I started to see the importance of what we were doing versus, everybody else in the community and how much it made an impact on the community. So I was all over it, man. I was like, this thing's going to work out if I make it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you start diving in a little bit more. Are you kind of going off on your own side of trying to learn more about palate and flavors and different styles, or are you asking Pop, hey, how do you do this? Well, how do you do that? How do I make it this? How do I do that? What was Rodney's way of really diving in?
Well, basically it was all Pops. Whatever they said, what you're doing. And it was more or less, why is the sauce going on now? Right. How long does it have to be on there? How much cayenne pepper versus black pepper? Because we did it all separately back then. Yeah. So it was basically going on what he said and what we needed to do. Because again, during this time, I was still trying to figure out the difference in salt and Jesus Tears. Jesus Tears is MSG. We all know. And I was trying to figure out the difference between the two and why is one more heavier than the other. So little things like that, I just started to ask him questions, but I still went on his direction. So then I learned that you couldn't put the same amount of seasoning on a chicken that you did on a hog. And that's when my early education of the basics that we were cooking, I started to apply towards, the everyday and how to range it out a little bit, like add it to a steak or add it to some turkey. So those are things I started to learn off of following what Dad would tell you what to do.
I love that. The MSG thing is just epic for me. Jesus Tears is just one of those things. So I had no idea. Let me reach over here and grab this. I had no idea until I got this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. and I started talking about you to my wife probably about the time the Netflix special with the Chef's Table came out, and because I could name a pitmaster and she wouldn't have a clue who it was, but this way I could say, the guy I was watching the other day on Netflix. And so then she got me your cookbook because I loved the show and started talking about you and all the things. She brought me. I had no idea that there was people out there that put more MSG on things.
Yep.
Well, I did like what you pointed out. First of all, the name Jesus Tears.
Yeah.
And how that came about, like just putting your own little spin on it. And I've gone through some of your book here with Charlie, and just the little antidotes that you have and what food does allow you to do, and having those stories and building that community, building that background. And then how I think it was Nick's kid walked in and you're like, no, it's just Jesus Tears. And that builds on that. But you made a comment, like you didn't hold back. Like, yes, we put MSG in our food. And your counter to that was you're already eating it because it's in all this other junk that you consume daily. What gave you the confidence, or was it just the fact of you knew it made it better to move forward and say, yeah, we're going to hang on to this and keep right on going?
Well, I did my little research on it. I was like, okay, I found out that sodium level was lower, right? And I was like, oh, that's better. This is good. Then I found out that it only enhances what you already have. So one particular day at home, I tried to go without it. Didn't work as good. And I put a pinch back in and I was like, whoa, that changed it a lot. So I was like, why be afraid to say what it is? Tell them straight up, hey, this is what I use. Mm-hmm. And once I ran out, I didn't have it with me. I did a job in, I'll say North Carolina. I'm not going to say which city. And what's so funny.
The guilty. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. I was like, where's the nearest grocery store? I need to find something real quick. And he said, what do you need? We have a whole kitchen. I said, well, I need some Jesus Tears. MSG. He's like, he took a deep breath and he hesitated. He's like, I got it, but nobody knows I use it. And I was like,
Told on himself.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, just go ahead and say you use it. If you use it, you use it. Again, you're already eating it. It's in all of your favorite snacks and different places. Some places they don't even want to admit it's there. And it's just a flavor enhancer, just basically a little bit more flavor added to what you already do. And, why not just add that to it? And I boldly tell them, yeah, it's in there. And people say, well, I'm allergic. No, you're not. You think you are. You've been eating it this whole time. You're not allergic. Ma'am,
that bag of Doritos over there says you're not allergic to it because you have consumed it.
Yes.
Like that.
You ate 3 small packs of that thing already. You're all stacked with it. But why not just say what's in it? I'm not ashamed to say we use it.
Where did the MSG come from? Like I would have never, and maybe it's my lack of formal culinary training, but where did you just come up with, hey, let's just put some more MSG on it?
Well, growing up as in the barbecue pit, you listen. And my dad's uncle, he was the one that was teaching my dad how to do it mostly. And I remember him saying one particular afternoon, he says, I need a little bit more accent. What? That's one brand of MSG.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw him take it and just dabbed it on. And he said, oh, yeah, that's it right there. Right? I'm like,
you've heard that more than once.
Yeah. Like, really? This pretty little can made a difference? So when they turned their backs, you kind of taste it like, ooh, yeah. All right. It's a lot of flavor. And the memory never escaped me. And I always knew that if you had a pinch of that, it would make things so delicious, add so much more flavor on top of what you already have.
It's better than just adding a little salt.
Yeah. And then a lot of people said it's in Chinese food. It's everywhere in Chinese food. It's an Asian thing that a lot of people like to use. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that either, but I know it works great in our house.
Can you taste it? Like if you taste too much MSG, too much in quotation marks, do you know what it is? Like you can pick it out?
Honestly, I can't pick it out. I know if they use it.
Okay.
The flavor is hitting like bang.
Okay.
Anytime you taste something and you finish with,
okay,
it's probably in there.
All right.
It's in there because it's going to make you kind of like draw your palate together and finish with like a kiss.
Okay. I'm going to go to the grocery after this.
Yeah. It's up in there, man.
MSG is great. I don't use it nearly as much as I should, but it's a wonderful additive.
I'm gonna tell you what I did with my family. I took some steak seasoning, right? And I took just a pinch and sprinkled over the steak along with that steak seasoning. Let me tell you something, man. I got a 16-year-old in here. He'll make 2 or 3 trips. Anything that I pull off the grill with that combination on it, whether it's a rack of lamb or the bone-in steaks or the pork chops, he's all over that thing, man, with just that little extra.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. Well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come right back in and dive in with Mr. Rodney Scott.
She was about to sign. The payments looked fine until I ran the numbers. They were overcharging her by $5,412. One call later, we flipped the script. Better price, lower rate, $5,000 saved. This happens every week. Before you sign, call me. The 615negotiator.com. I find what they don't want you to see.
All right, welcome back, guys. Again, I'm your man, Charlie Ebden. We always have our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells, here with us. Look, I want to take a quick second and thank Toast for being our primary title sponsor for the show. We couldn't do it without them and the technology that they provide for the restaurant, as well as the partnership here at the show. So thank you, Toast, for all that you do.
I'm not a restaurateur, and I know, Rodney, you've got several, I believe. I don't know your number of units, but what I've found is that locally, when I go to different spots now, I see the places that have Toast, and I find it more user friendly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's familiarity or if it's just because I'm aware of it now. But as somebody that's
Probably a
not
little bit of
on
both.
the user end, as far as mapping a business,
Yep.
it is helpful. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
I like it.
They're
You,
awesome.
you use Toast at your place?
Yes, we do.
I love it. I love it. They great company. They do a lot for us. So super glad to have them. But speaking of technology, what would you say in the restaurant and hospitality space in today? How do you think technology is changing our industry?
Man, technology is definitely changing our industry. When you got the barcodes there and you got the people that don't carry cash, of course, that's convenient for them to use their cards and the phone taps and all that stuff is great. Me being a 1970s individual, I still like that personal contact as well. The technology is awesome, but if I call a restaurant and they answer the phone, I'm in love. And at our restaurant, not always answering the phone. And I kind of get worried depending on technology, hoping that it's working, hoping that it's not too cloudy and the signal's blocked, hoping that whomever is calling from the other end can get through. For me, it's a blessing and a curse. It works great. It's fast. It works well. But when it's down, it's a huge challenge.
Very much so.
You get a glitch in the power system or your internet is a little weak or something of that nature, then you have to resort back to old school. I kind of like the personal touch. I like to say hello, how are you? Take the money out of your hand, put it back in your hand. I love that part. But technology is convenient, but I'm more of old school.
Now, I went into a restaurant the other day. I'd love your opinion, just because you've been doing this for a while, and I'm curious. But I went into a restaurant the other day, and they don't take cash.
I was going to go down that road as well.
They don't take cash. And now look, I get that we're turning into a digital age, right? I mean, the cryptos and paying with the tap and paying with your phone and all the things. Like, I understand that. And I lean on technology a lot to enhance our hospitality, to grow our hospitality, to make it easier to spend more time, to have that personal connection.
Yeah.
But when you just take away something completely, my question was, well, what happens if I don't have a card? What happens if the only thing I brought in here was $100 bill? And I want my hamburger and cheese fries or whatever. And then you don't have any way to take a payment? That seems strange.
I think of it just like Rodney said, though. There's days when Wi-Fi's down, internet's down. You still got power. You can still cook. Your kitchen's still going.
Yeah.
You don't have a way to accept payment. And you're going to be up a creek real fast right then.
Yeah. We had a situation once where I traveled from Atlanta. My buddy Bob the Builder, that's my man. He sees me in Atlanta. He says, "Let's go to the football game in Tampa tomorrow." We're in Atlanta. I said, "Dude, I drove." He says, "I'm on my way to the airport. Meet me in Charleston. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's go to Tampa tonight." Me, being who I am, drove from Atlanta to Charleston, from Charleston down to Orlando to spend the night to go to Tampa the next day. That's 3 states. That's a couple of tanks of diesel.
Yeah.
We're moving. We get in the stadium the next afternoon, and they said, "We don't take cash." Now, credit card's been burning up for the past few hours. It's been to all these different states, all these different times.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if I can't pay you, we're stuck. It did go through, but again, what if?
Yeah.
Right.
What if? I had about $100 worth of snacks for us right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what if the card didn't work simply because of the different states that we've traveled in less than 24 hours? And how would you folks take this money? And they said, "Sir, you probably just wouldn't get your food."
Wow.
So, I mean, I
Just
get
lose
it.
the sale.
Yeah, it's safe for a lot of people not to have all that cash on hand, but all at the same time, what's your backup plan? You got a $5,000 order and you can't do it unless you have a card. What's the plan?
Yeah, I think the role of operator that you two guys would see, because you're always wanting cash flow into your business,
Yeah.
money flow, if you will. And I'm not going to step out on a limb to cut off completely one entire source of revenue just for the sake of convenience. So
yeah, I had a situation, and the reason I guess it kind of muffles me a little bit and ruffles my feathers, however you want to call it, is we had a catering order, like you just said, a big catering order, and they didn't want to pay with a card. They didn't have a card. It was a business, and they didn't have a credit card. They had a check, cash, a business check. And so if I don't take any cash payments, quote unquote, you're not going to take a check. So it's then you lose out on that order. And I don't know many small business restaurants that wouldn't want to have a $3, $4, $5,000+ order because they don't take cash.
Right.
So, well, look, let's back up and get a little bit more of this story. You're in high school, senior year.
Yeah.
You're really enjoying the food scene now. You're diving in, learning all you got. What took you from there to up to 16, working for Pop, cooking the hogs, learning everything you can? What was the big change from there to, okay, hey, now it's my time. Let's go open Rodney Scott's BBQ.
Well, we farmed as well. Hated farming. God, I hated farming. Tractors and plows and all that thing, you can have them, forget that. I hate it. But I started to focus in on the barbecue business. And in the year that my dad said he wasn't going to farm that particular year with tobacco, that gave us more time in the pits. So now I'm starting to explore more and understand more of what we're doing. And during the 12-hour cooks, we would try things like cooking chicken parts over the open flame in foil. Little things like that started you start to learn how to flavor your rice, how to smoke meats without drying them completely out, different things, different proteins. So all of this is starting to get into my head. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? We could grow this thing. We could be all over the place. And it wasn't until I traveled a little bit to different restaurants and tasted other foods that were supposed to be some of the best. I said, we can compete here. We can do that. So I started to pay more attention to what we were doing, saying that we can compete with some of the best of them. So I would take some to Myrtle Beach, to people I knew down there, and say, tell me about this. In Florence, South Carolina, all these different places. And when they would say, oh, this is delicious, I said, oh, man, we could take this to another level, I believe. And, my thought was, let's grow bigger. And we were averaging about 30 hogs a week when I was still working with my family. It wasn't nothing to do. 30 hogs a week, easy.
And those are what, 150, 200 pound hogs?
150 to 180 average.
Nice.
Every now and again, we had a couple of 200 pounders, but we stayed in that 150 to 170 range.
And those were your hogs, right? You raised those hogs, didn't you?
Some of them we raised, and a lot of them we had to start buying because the demand got larger than what we could handle.
Gotcha.
And rules, regulations, you had to get professional raised hogs. Mm-hmm. So we just moved on over to buying them.
Nice. So you opened the first Rodney Scott's in 2017?
2017, we opened the first Rodney Scott's BBQ.
And that was in Hemingway, right?
No. Hemingway opened in 1972. That was the family Scott's BBQ.
Okay.
And first Rodney Scott's BBQ opened in 2017 in Charleston, South Carolina.
In Charleston. Okay. All right. I got them backwards.
Now, with all this reference to Carolinas, in your words, what is Carolina barbecue?
Man, Carolina barbecue is the best. It's vinegar-based barbecue. I know some people are gonna, oh no, he's crazy. Well, I'm sticking to my opinion. This is my question.
Hey, rock with it. I love it.
It's vinegar, cayenne pepper, black pepper, lemon juice, sugar, pepper flakes. That's what we grew up with. That's my version of Carolina barbecue. That's the eastern part of South Carolina and North Carolina. They both do that vinegar pepper based sauce. It's delicious. I think that it's one of the best things out there, in my opinion.
Now
So-
you talk about vinegar sauces, and I gotta pick the master's brain because I've been working on. I have 3 different recipes for vinegar sauces, and I don't like none of them.
You need to add some
Yeah.
MSG.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. You said sugar, and it's probably a missing ingredient in my vinegar sauce.
Uh-huh.
Is it more of a white sugar, a brown sugar? What sugar profile are you going for?
White sugar is what we're using. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. Are you cooking your vinegar or heating your vinegar up when you make this sauce?
No.
There you go. Trust me when I tell you, heat that vinegar up. It doesn't have to boil.
I got a whole light bulb that's popping off you can't see right now. You said heat it up, and I just went, damn.
Heat that vinegar up. When you see it start to swirl just before it gets to that boiling point, you dump all your ingredients in there and you marry them. You all right? Keep it stirred. Don't let that pepper stick at the bottom. And once everything marries together and it's been hot for a minute, don't let it boil. So just when you start to see the edges of that sauce around the edge of the pot start to bubble just a little bit, shut it off. Shut it off. Let it cool. It's going to change your game. White vinegar, of course. It's going to change the game. And
that's outstanding.
Brown vinegar as well. Apple cider as well. You can go ahead, heat it up. That takes some of that strong, pungent taste off of it.
You're trying to do that.
Gives it more balance.
You're trying to do that right there. I would rest camera.
There you go.
You're trying to do that right there. That's straight from the book.
There it is. There's the model.
I knew I saw it today.
Just read the book, Charlie. You'll be all right.
That's right.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
But that's one of the key ingredients to make it more balanced is to heat the vinegar up before you do anything.
When I got into this business many moons ago, no one ever told me that I was going to need chemistry and biology to be a good cook.
I tell you what I find most unique, and I'm sure y'all have dealt with this with like your cuts. Having butchered my own deer this year, of trying to learn the cuts and what goes into it to create a really good cut of meat so that you aren't wasting it. So like, I know you do a lot of your briskets, you doing the hogs, that butcher process goes into it as well. So I think people downplay the knowledge of the barbecue guy, the pit master, because yes, it's coals, it's heat, it's fire, it's protein. It's all these other things that go into it as well. Because
you got to understand the anatomy of the animal you're cooking.
Yeah. So I'm impressed. Like, y'all have got a great background between coming up with recipes and heat. Like you said, just the different things, the suggestion there. I get impressed every time we start talking barbecue.
The bad thing about that is we cook our regular barbecue sauce. We cook our hot barbecue sauce.
But you didn't think about doing the
But
vinegar.
I didn't think about cooking the vinegar sauce.
There you go. You heat that vinegar up. But
yeah, dummy, just cook it.
That's
be
great.
fine.
Part of that is
That's what you should have said, Rodney. You dummy, just cook it.
no, I'm not that kind of guy. But you always have to stay a student. You have to always keep your ear open and don't be afraid to listen and learn.
I love that.
Tell me to build you a recipe right now. I might can't build it that fast.
Right.
You tell me to put some flavors together and make something delicious. I'll be like, oh, okay. Give me a minute. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. This should be delicious. But that's where I would ask a chef, someone who's culinary trained, who has that background. I would ask, help me put this list together.
Yep.
So you have to learn a lot of things. Your environment where you're cooking, the size of the animal, the fat cap, what is the animal? All of these things you have to, pay attention to when you're cooking over fire, because it's not just a start the fire, throw it on, season it, take it off. It's not that easy.
Sometimes when I talk to you, I feel like I'm really doing the bare minimum when I'm doing my little weekend order stuff over here. Just say, because y'all have a science going, and I love it. So it's good stuff.
Now we're back in 2017. You got Rodney Scott's open.
Yeah.
You've been open. Let's just say 90 days.
Yeah.
What's going on in your head then? Because 90 days prior to opening, you got this. We're ready to take over the world. I know the feeling when we opened our restaurant and you're on top of the world and nobody can tell you anything.
Yeah.
You're 90 days after opening that first unit. What's going on in Rodney Scott's head?
Why is all this gray coming in? That was the first thing.
Yes.
I understand.
It was scary. It was stressful. It was nerve-wracking because it's like, can I make this? Did I make the right decision? You know, what's next? How do we keep a steady flow? Because you start way up. Everybody's curious. The line's down the block.
Yep.
Then about a few weeks later, that line is real short. And you're like, well, what happened? What am I doing wrong? Then you're trying to get employees to understand your process. For me, I had to learn how to teach people to cook the whole hog. All of these things are going through your head. It's like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How do we keep business going? And sure enough, it started to balance out a little bit. But man, the thing that was going through my head was, am I crazy? Why did I do this? Can I make this happen? Can I make this work? And we used to always get together every morning to taste the food before we opened and served. And one morning we got a phone call. I got a phone call and I didn't answer. I got another phone call and I didn't answer because I wanted my staff to understand, pay attention when we were talking. Phone just kept going off, and that we got a call that we got nominated for James Beard. That was just as nerve-wracking as opening a restaurant, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was a scary morning. That it was humbling. It was scary because it felt like I had to start all over again. But I remember going across the street and I bought 2 bags of chocolate-covered almonds, and I went through one bag like nothing, just nerves. I said, now everybody's paying attention. We gotta get this right. But again, all of that fear from February, you know, the nerves started kicking in later on about how do we maintain, how do we keep this business going? It was scary.
Now, when you opened the first unit, was that all you, or were you and Nick already partnered up?
Me and Nick had already partnered up with the first unit.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, I got my timetable wrong. It was 2018 we got the call because that's the year that we won the Beard. But just nerves in between all of that.
Yep.
Just building up from month to month, watching sales go up, watching them come down, hearing the critics say whatever they say, trying to stay consistent and make things happen. It was tough. And, you know, me and Nick, we kept our heads together, trying to make sure that we're doing everything balanced out, staying consistent, making sure that our food was the best that we can deliver.
Now, how did you and Nick get linked up to begin with?
Nick and I got linked up through John T. Edge, both a mutual friend. And John T. told Nick about me. And at the time, Jim and Nick's had a restaurant downtown, and they did this dinner for Charleston Wine and Food. And I got invited to cook. And lo and behold, here I am in this historic district of Charleston with a wood burning in the middle of the street. Just
nice.
Blaring, man. You know, all of the no-nos.
Yeah.
And I cooked that hog, and it was very much appreciated and welcomed by the folks once it was done. And the next thing you know, Charleston was embracing what we did. And I said, oh, okay. I love that I impressed these folks in Charleston. Let me go back to my little tiny corner. And Nick just kept saying, hey, man, we should do something. We should do something. And we did. And the first Rodney Scott's BBQ was born.
That's outstanding. And that was 2017.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, you opened another unit was it the end of 18?
It was the end of 18, early 19, I think we opened the second location.
So, and then in 2020, you opened one up here in Nashville.
We opened Nashville in we discussed it in
21.
21, 21 was Atlanta. And then 24, because we got pushed back, we opened Nashville.
That's right. I think I heard about it in 21 or 22, something like that.
Yeah, we got excited. We're ready to do it. But
now there's a story that you obviously partnered with a gentleman that most people here in Nashville know.
Oh yeah.
Another
Right.
Carolina boy.
Right. So now, how does that happen? Because there's a story that before you guys even discussed the restaurant, y'all met each other in passing at a golf tournament or something,
Yeah.
but didn't speak.
I kind of saw him and I was like, that dude looked familiar. Oh yeah, that's Eric Church. I said, no, I knew him. We were in VIP, and you know, we're all back there just hanging out. Me and Bob the Builder again, and we were hanging out, and I was like, gosh, that guy. We keep passing that dude, Eric Church, and you know, Darius was there at the time, and me, Bob, and Darius were having a quick conversation, and me and Bob was like, let's go. We're leaving, and we see him again. It's like, there's Eric Church again. Guys everywhere. Didn't think of it. And a few weeks later, I get the phone call. They said Eric Church wants to meet. Who? Just
Like, we was just playing golf like that.
this dude's awesome. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's talking about. Lo and behold, man, in no time flat, we came up with an idea, and Nashville was born.
That
It's
is great.
outstanding. It's outstanding. So
Man.
now, how do you put a barbecue joint on the top of a bar on Broadway?
Very quietly. Very quietly. There were some challenges here and there. We had to since make some adjustments, but you know, we did it. We did it. You know what I mean? It happened. There was some adjusting, but it happened. We made it to Broadway. It's basically what I could say. And so far everything's still doing good. So yeah.
I love that. That's outstanding. Now, is that location? So I haven't been to the Broadway one, which is crazy but I've been to the one in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So is it the same as your other locations?
Broadway is a little different. It's not built completely around the Rodney Scott platform. We provide all the food on all the floors. So, you know, if you're a guest in there and you want something to eat on, you get our barbecue. And, you know, of course we make the necessary adjustments. Same barbecue background you got wings in there and whatever it is that you may want, brisket, the burgers, those type of things that we still do in there. It's not as big a menu as you do in the day-to-day restaurant, but you still get that Rodney Scott experience.
I love it. I love that.
Rodney, you got a slogan that pops up several times through your book, and I've seen it on your social media and stuff. Every day is a good day.
Every day is a good day. Tomorrow's going to be even better.
Yeah, he just made the slogan better. I love it.
Yeah.
Where's that inspiration or that background on that? Because I mean, like, there's a lot of folks that can hang their hat on that right there, and just that every day is a good day. But you've got it through here several times. Give me the backstory on that.
Well, the backstory was I wanted to build a house, right? Didn't have a lot of money, and I found out you just needed credit. Okay, boom. I'm still young, trying to get a house built. How do I do this? I go to this bank, and this guy working in the bank told me, you have to get a loan, you have to have collateral, this, that, and the other. So I said, I want to use the house for collateral. This guy turns me down flat-footed like that. He says, your credit needs about $900 to clear up the bills that are against you.
Right.
I said, let me go downstairs. I got that much money. He says, no. He turned me down, but I wasn't hurt. I smiled. And I said, you got a card? He gave me a card, and I stuck it on my refrigerator. And I looked at him and I smiled on the way out. I said, thank you. Now, as disappointed as I was, something said, keep smiling at this guy. I said, it still was a good day. And I took his card and stuck it on my refrigerator. I lived in a mobile home at the time. And I walked out the back door every single morning, and I looked at his name, and I said, every day is a good day. Today is a good day. And as I closed the door, and I would say, every day is a good day. And I kept that dude's card on that refrigerator until I moved out. And to this day, I say that I feel better. It's kind of like an aspirin to the day-to-day challenges.
Right.
Say every day is a good day, and you seem to feel better. And they said, well, what happens on days when you lose a loved one? I said, that's a challenging day, but it's still a good one because you're here. So for me, every day is still a good day. Some are more challenging than others, but every day is a good day.
I love that.
I got goosebumps, man. That is
great.
fantastic.
Rodney, every show we do a segment that's called Mac or Beans.
Okay.
In this segment, it's a this or that segment. And as a fellow barbecue guy and restaurant owner, you know, you go into another barbecue joint when you come to Nashville and you're coming into Single Tree to come hang out with me for a day, just so I can learn everything there is to learn about barbecue from you. You sit down, you order your meal. We don't do whole hog, but we do on occasion, so we'll time it right for you. But you get your side item, right? Most guys walk into a place and they're either going to get the mac and cheese or the smoke, or mine are smoked beans, or the beans, right? And then you can pick and choose from there. What are you going to get? You going to get the mac and cheese, or you going to get the beans?
Both.
Hey, you were
Barbecue
not
guy,
wrong.
classic answer.
You were
I'm
not
telling
wrong.
you, that smoky brown sugar flavor that the average barbecue joint has in it, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
The mac and cheese, I gotta taste it. And for me, you take that mac and cheese, those beans, and the pork, put them all together, and you got one heck of a bite. So
Yeah, buddy.
that's why I always say both. I've had 2 different managers called on me because I've gone to barbecue restaurants and ordered the entire menu. There's like this one guy is up here at the bar and he wants everything to go.
Serve the man.
You see the manager
Yes.
comes around, and the first time I did, I was in Charlotte. Guy came around and he says, "Oh, it's you." Yes, I just want this to go. And I got all of his food, and then I rushed over to the second barbecue joint, did the exact same thing. And that manager says, "Is there any particular reason you're ordering everything?" I said, "I just want to taste everything." So I'm that guy. I'll get everything. Give me both.
Yeah. I'm real close to you. My wife absolutely loves going on vacation with me because I will sniff out a barbecue joint in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
I can smell the smoke, man.
That's
I'm coming.
awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, went to one at SeaWorld in Disney. I walked in, it was a barbecue joint. I said, no.
I feel like all you barbecue guys have the same, like that little your spidey senses go off, like there's smoke in the air, like there's something that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
This one don't have it. This is not it.
If there's no smoke in the air, I don't want it. I don't want it.
No.
Not at all.
The other half of that mac or beans question, I'm going to give you another this or that. And this one I make it personal, and I'm going to throw a caveat. You can't say both here, okay?
All right. Okay.
You wrote, "For years I seasoned with my ribs on the pit just like I seasoned my hogs, but then I opened Charleston, I rethought that, and now you've got a rib rub. If you had to pick one, are you going with your hog seasoning or are you going with your rib rub?"
The rib rub.
The rib rub.
The rib rub.
Now give me the why.
I'm going to give you the why.
Okay.
Rib rub works on ribs. The rib rub works as a finish on the steak sandwich. You can add a steak sandwich. It works on a burger when it's cooking. And here's the kicker. It works on coleslaw and potato salad as a topping or a finish. Okay? Now, I tell this story all the time. My wife and I had to go to the family to cook. And the family's pretty, sensitive about the dishes.
Sure. I bet. Well, they've grown up with a good background. Yeah.
We went to the local grocery store, got a seafood salad from the local grocery store, put it in a casserole dish, right?
Oh, yeah.
Smoothed it out. We're going to try them. We smoothed it out. They go to the same grocery store and get this stuff all the time. Cleaned it up, and we dusted it with rib rub. Took it to the family. I was like, "Oh my God, this is so delicious." And I just smiled. We said,
That's
"Nah, that came from the grocery store."
That is outstanding.
Did you keep the receipt? Did you prove, like, here's my story? Okay, good. There you go. There you go.
The last reason I chose a rib rub, I was cooking in France, and the vinegar was a different percentage. It was way stronger. And I boiled that thing dang near as weak as I could, but it was too strong with the spicy hog rub. but the sweet in the rib rub balanced it out.
Mm.
So I always take rib rub with me wherever I go, regardless if I'm just doing whole hog, take the rib rub anyway. And I finished the hog with the rib rub. First time ever doing it, balanced it out.
Mm.
So it's universal. It can be a start, a finish, a marinade. It can be extra flavor. It's just the all around plus.
I really thought I was going to stump you, making you choose one of your own products. You had a solid answer there, so well done.
That's outstanding.
I've made a few mistakes before.
Sure.
Now, look, you have started from a single unit restaurant, working with the folks, to starting your own place. Now you have, is it 6 locations, 6 restaurants? Five restaurants. 5 restaurants. You have a cookbook that's wildly successful as well. Your Netflix show, James Beard Award winner. You're in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Like, I give me another 45 minutes and I can list the rest of your credentials. But doing all of that, being on the TV shows and having the restaurants, what would you go back to 2017 and tell yourself right before you start this journey to do more of?
Be patient. Be patient. I remember being frustrated the first week because it felt like I couldn't keep up. Give yourself more grace. Give yourself more understanding. Give yourself your personal time. So I started with an hour a day of nobody, no nothing. Find that hour somewhere in your day just to be you. Take time for yourself. And I would still say to this day, be patient. Everything doesn't happen when you want it to or when you plan it. So you really need to be patient and embrace what you're doing and the time that you're doing it in, because everything is going to work itself out. And honestly, if all that happened since then would have happened that first year, I would probably be a little bit less organized, a little more confused and just out of whack, because everything came in stages. So being patient would be the best advice I would give myself back in 2017 versus where I am now.
That's outstanding. You talked about having to teach people how to cook hogs. Yeah. And that is teaching people how to cook barbecue is not an overnight thing because, like yourself, I've been doing this for 33 years and I'm still trying to learn how to cook barbecue every day and we cook it every day. Right. So it's challenging at its best, but how do you teach someone else quickly to be able to cook like Rodney Scott?
One of the ways to teach them quickly is to work with them, work right beside them, be there from the start all the way through to the finish. Encourage them to ask questions along the way. If it seems like it's simple, ask it anyway. No question is off limits. Ask any question that you want while we're doing this thing. I'm also going to tell you as much as I can while we're doing it and why. And it's constant conversation throughout the entire cook. And when they see that you're putting hands on and that you're trying to walk them through it step by step, what it is and why, it tends to help a lot and tends to work out a lot better. I have a guy he started with us, he was 18 years old. I think he's 26 now. I would give this guy the shovel any day and turn my back. And he would make me laugh how he said I could smell and tell him where I was in the cook. And I would teach him, this aroma right here tells you just fired it. It's starting to cook along at this point. And I also had to learn how to teach because they were following gauges, not touching. I touch with my hands. They were following numbers. Right. So we just kind of work side by side, learn together, give them the what and the why of everything that you're doing. Like the vinegar situation I told you. You just heat it up, add your ingredients, let it marry and cook together, and then try it. You get a huge difference. So definitely work side by side with them and explain why you're cooking with them.
Do you find it now that you have multiple units over multiple states that it's that much harder to turn over the torch per se, and you've taught your guys how to cook it, but now those guys have to teach other people how to cook your food, right? So it's third party removed. It's like having an Uber Eats pitmaster from 3 states away, right? So what challenges do you see now that you're in a multiple different states, that you walk into one of your units and go, oh my goodness, no, we got to work on this?
One of the challenges is you get new pit masters that think you don't have to do it this way. Right. You don't have to do the whole animal at once. I could do it quicker if it's half. Those are some of the things that I've walked in on. And you show up. Don't tell them, just show up. You know, there's mornings that I would wake up here at home and I'd be like, I'm gonna be in Atlanta by 12. And I would just show up. And when they see you just popping up, they tend to follow along a little more. Mm-hmm. Have that secret shopper always dropping in. Like my buddy Bob would always work the roads. He would go in and say, well, I'm in Atlanta and this happened. Just yesterday, one of my first pitmasters in Charleston ate lunch in Atlanta. And the GM had no idea that this guy knew every detail and that he's worked alongside me for almost a year. But when he gave his critique and told her everything, apparently it was one of the best visits ever. So it's like you got to have a secret shopper. You got to try to go to sleep at night because you're going to worry that they're trying to change it up.
Yeah.
You got to pop up. And when your locals go and they say that I'm at your place or whatever, you ask them, how was it? And I have one friend in Atlanta that will call me every time they hit the door. And they said, I got Rodney on the phone. He was like, yeah, right. I was like, put him on the phone. And that's the only other upper hand that you have. Mm-hmm. The GM gets the phone and be like, hey. Yeah.
That's 100% true, though.
Yes,
like, okay.
It is. Yeah. I have a secret shopper sitting next to me right here.
There you go.
Been there, done that. Like that's I get a phone call.
Sure.
Can you be at the restaurant by 7:30? Yes. Yes, I can.
Got to check it out. Make sure it's right. Yeah. I love that. So, now you got 5 units, you're rocking and rolling. Things are going good. It seems like every time I turn on the TV, you're on TV somewhere. How do you enjoy the TV as much as you do the restaurant, or is it just part of it? It seems to me like, because you're on a lot of cooking shows, right? Yeah. You do a lot of cooking. But is it what's the one with Bobby Flay? I'm really drawn. Thank you. Yeah. That one I watched a couple nights ago, a week ago maybe. I saw one of those episodes. It's got to be a totally different world.
It is a totally different world doing TV. Things are done different. Things are done. Different things are done. Period. You might see a challenge that's outrageous. You might see them do a pork crown, where the ribs are just standing up and the bones out. You might see a 2-inch pork chop, something that you don't do every day, and watch them prepare it. So I really enjoy the TV part because you see different worlds and backgrounds and cultures of pitmasters who show some of their best work on TV. And for me, it's like a learning process of, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, I didn't know you would smoke a watermelon in hot coals. I don't want any, but I didn't know you could do that. So it's kind of like,
no thanks.
It's kind of like a learned experience of what they're doing and that people actually do this. So I really enjoy the TV. You meet people, you hear their background, their styles of cooking, the sauces, the ingredients that they use that are so different than what you grew up with. So I really enjoy that part. And versus the restaurant, I'm still meeting people, but I'm telling the story through my food instead of me just tasting different ones throughout, like I do on Barbecue Brawl. So I tell my stories through my food. They tell me where they're from and how we relate. And before you know it, man, there's a whole new relationship created through it. So I enjoy the both, but TV is fun, and meeting people in the restaurant is just as fun because, hey, it's just like you got a new family member all of a sudden.
Right. We say that, and I got this. I can't take credit for it, but we say that every company, every restaurant company, especially, should be a media company as well. And I got that from a friend of mine who you were on his show, Mr. Sean Walchef at Cali Barbecue Media. I guess probably about a year or so, maybe 2 years ago at this point. Do you find that it's easier with being on TV, that it's easier to be able to tell your story, or does your story come out more through the food?
I think my story comes out more through the food. Being on TV is one thing. A lot of people watch TV sometimes in so much excitement that they don't pay attention to every little detail.
Right.
But the reason I say it comes out through the food is because this one guy, I'll never forget him. He says, "Your tea is too sweet." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "You think my tea is sweet? You should taste my mama's."
Proper response.
Right? And he says, "Well, why do you make it so sweet?" I said, "Do you ever go to a restaurant and you fix your drink, a sweet tea, for example, and by the time you get to the halfway or the bottom of the glass, it tastes less sweet, it's watery?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I said, "Well, if you make it super sweet, by the time the water dilutes it, it's sweet all the way to the finish." Didn't think about that. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Same guy complaining to me, right? As he was walking in the restaurant. So I kept my good eye on him. He was leaving. Guess what he filled up with?
Little sweet tea to go. That's right.
Sweet tea. But it's
it.
little things like that you can tell your story through the food, because my mama said to make it this way. And this is how I do it. And I'm not going to change that. I want you to experience what I grew up with and how I appreciate it.
I love that. Look, in life, there's lessons that will be learned. In business, we learn lessons every day. Opening restaurants, you learn more about yourself and business and friendships than you probably ever could imagine. The communities we build are amazing. We started this show to be able to have people on like yourself, to be able to tell stories, tell their story. I'm a real big believer. I love music, and I believe that knowing people's story makes the music sound better. Same thing with food. Once you know someone's story, the food tastes better, right? So, taking all that back, you've been doing this longer than I have. What is a lesson? What is the best form of advice that you have ever been told?
The best form of advice that I've ever been told is that manners and respect will take you where money never will. And my mom told me that. She would always tell me that. And didn't understand it for a long time. Didn't get it. But I've come to learn that I've gotten jobs through saying hello. I've created relationships by saying, "Ma'am, take my chair." Little things like that have connected me to bigger things. This once I offered this lady my chair this particular year. 1 year later, same event, she spots me at a party. She remembers, and she connects me to all of the next level. Some of the TV stuff came through some of her connections. Some of the events that I've done came through knowing her. Flat tire getting fixed one afternoon after hours because I knew her. So I feel like that the beginning with that manners can take you so many different places that it blows your mind. So that respect that you deliver to everybody that you see and acknowledge, because you never know who you're talking to or speaking to, it can open so many more doors for you. So Manners and respect is the best advice I've gotten, and I try to apply that through my day-to-day routines. Even at the coffee shop in the morning, it's always good morning, ladies. Thank you, ladies. Have a great day. Even on the set, everybody on the camera crew, good morning. When we are done, thank you. Show that gratitude.
It's outstanding.
And before you know it, these folks say that this person is okay. He's cool. He's down to earth. He has respect. They show up at your restaurant, and then again, it just snowballs into a better situation or relationship. So
it's amazing.
That's some of the best advice I've ever gotten, and I live by it.
Mama knows, don't she?
That's pretty good advice.
Yeah,
pretty good advice.
Say about that.
Derry, you got a Friday feel good for us?
I do have a Friday feel good, and not to follow up what Rodney just shared, but communication can be one of the key points in your life. But don't go out of your way to prove your point, because you should stop debating people who don't care about the truth. Their goal is not for clarity. They are out for ego. So make sure that if you are communicating, you're doing it the right way, that you have a goal in mind, and that you're solving this or reaching the solution that you need. Y'all know what to do. Find somebody you know. Tell them you love them.
Love it.
Man, I wish I could reach this other microphone over there. I dropped that one.
I appreciate it. My first mic drop on a Friday feel good.
Yeah, that was deep. That was I hear you.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I hear you, man.
I love it. Look, Rodney, man, I can't thank you enough for coming to hang out with us.
Absolutely.
It's been an amazing hour. Next time you are in Nashville, you got my credentials and contact. Please feel free to hit me up. I would love to come chop it up over some brown liquid and a cigar and sit by a fire, man.
Yes, I knew I liked you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are kinfolk now. You are officially a part of Single Tree Nation and our family, and you are always welcome. So we thank you for coming to hang out with us. If people would like to find Rodney Scott's, can you throw down where they can find Rodney Scott's?
You can find me probably in the airport traveling somewhere, or no, you can find me at Pitmaster Rodney Scott on Instagram, or Rodney Scott's Whole Hog BBQ. Those are the two places you can usually find me. Or you'll find me at 1011 King Street in the mornings, delivering coffee to my crew and kicking it in the pits. You know,
Hey, there you go.
I'm somewhere.
I love that. I love
Where
that,
there's
man.
smoke, there's probably Rodney. So
That is outstanding. I'm right there with you, my friend. Again, thank you very much. Y'all, if you want to get involved with Single Tree, please feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me at charlie@singletreebbq.com. Give me a phone call at 615-307-0120. And until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Y'all be good.